Hey, let's talk about the new Seamaster 300 that was just announced by Omega and should be hitting stores in April of 2021. I look at it and I like it, but that's no surprise because Omega has just been impressing me as of late. I like the direction of the brand. I'm happy to see that they're slowly and consistently rising in overall market share, Swiss exports. I like what they're doing. They're making good moves. And not only just good moves, but they're making bold moves, right? They're coming out with master coaxial movements that are certified by the Swiss Federal Institute of Metrology. They look beautiful. Yes, they are machine finished, but they perform very well. I think they're attractive. They're contemporary. The watches come with great wood presentation boxes. We're seeing innovative materials. We're seeing full lume bezel inserts. We're seeing fan-loved adjustable clasps that you don't need a tool to make the micro adjustment positions. They're doing a lot of good things here. I look at their lineup. I see cohesion from the Speedmaster to the Seamaster to the Aquaterra to the Globemaster to the Railmaster. I mean, they have a lot of good stuff. And they've also basically redesigned the new Speedmaster, and they put in a new movement. They put in, that movement in a new case. There's a new dial layout. There's a new bracelet. Things like that, changes like that to arguably the most iconic watch of all time, the most recognized watch from this brand. Big changes don't happen all that often. So they're making big moves. They're making good moves. And I look at the Seamaster 300 and I get excited because this represents, to me, what Omega does really well with bringing the value. And it's kind of weird to say that when I'm talking about a watch that retails at $6,500. I mean, Bruce, where's the value in that? I could be going and buying a Casio. Well, that's absolutely true. Value is relative, but when you're looking at the luxury scene and you're looking at the level of finish, the level of fit, the design, the history, the technology, everything that goes into it for the luxury scene, Omega packs a powerful punch. And so I do think it's a pretty tempting model. Now, I have reviewed the 2014 release of the Seamaster 300. And just so you guys are aware, I'm not referring to the Seamaster Professional 300, which carries, the ceramic wave dial. Heck of a watch. I really love that watch, no doubt. But this is different. This is based off of the CK2913 from 1957. Not the first Seamaster, but this was the first professional Seamaster diver. And if we look at a picture of the two, the original from 1957 and then this latest version from 2021, you can obviously see the design inspiration. We have vintage flair on this 2021 version, but it's not overly vintage. It's not too vintage. It's not a one-to-one. It definitely has its own contemporary twist to it. And again, I'm liking what I'm seeing. This is pretty exciting. So let's talk about the changes. I did like the last version. I think this version does improve upon a few things that could be improved. And it's good to see a brand pay attention to those little details. That speaks a lot. So let's start with the dial. We have a true sandwich dial now. I think that's more dimensional. I don't know if I like the blue or the black more. There's a couple different dial configurations. But what I do like is the enlarged Arabic numerals. I like the return of the lollipop second hand, the true lollipop. I don't have to go buy a special Spectre edition to get the design that I really identify with and that I enjoy. I can get it on a basic, non-limited model that retails again at $6,500 on the bracelet. So I like to see that. And I also like the simplified layout. I'm not seeing excessive text. I'm not seeing coaxial, master chronometer. I'm not seeing the water resistance designation. I'm not seeing anything outside of the brand, outside of the model, and outside of the mandated Swiss-made designation that's very hard to pick up on just at the bottom portion of the dial. So I like that. It's a break from tradition. Watchmakers, watch brands, they're so set in their ways. Hey, we have to visually balance out every single portion of the dial, and we have to put as much text as possible in the dial, and I just don't think you have to do that anymore. The people that are buying these watches, we don't care if it says 200 meter, 300 meter, chronometer, certified, blah, 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 blah. We don't care. We want to see a beautiful watch. We know we're getting a heck of a watch when we're spending thousands and thousands of dollars. We want an aesthetically balanced and sharp watch. And so I look at this. I think this is big. I think this is good. I think this is legible. And in low light, you guys can see Omega has retained the bitone eminence of the radium superluminova that they're using. And we also have a loomed bezel, which I like to see. Now, the bezel is not ceramic like it used to be in the previous generation. And some of you might be upset about that. But this is not just a basic aluminum. It is loomed, yes, but it is treated to be harder than standard aluminum. So I have a feeling that this is going to age very well. And, when you're going with a vintage design, a modern glossy material isn't the best choice. It's not the most logical choice, but you're not going to be using bakelite. You're not going to be using acrylic. Aluminum is probably the best, but it's got to be hardened and it's got to be contemporary with the full loom. And Omega has managed to do that. And they haven't raised the price on the previous outgoing generation. And I think that's a good move. Now, going to the case, we have still a 41 millimeter diameter case, but now it's going to be a little bit trimmer and thinner. It's almost, I think it's like 1.2 or 1.3 millimeters thinner than the previous generation. And that's going to make a world of difference on the wrist. It's going to help with just how elegant it feels, how comfortable it is. Now, not only that, but the bracelet, 21 millimeter lugs with a dramatic taper down to 16 millimeters at the clasp that does carry that micro extension system, that on-the-fly adjustability. So that dramatic taper with an inverted center link, a thinner profile, I think this is going to sing on wrist. I think it's going to feel really comfortable and look very proportional. And if you have smaller wrists or you prefer more traditional sport sizes when it comes to your watches, I think you're going to like this fit. So that's a move in the right direction. And I like the fact that the bracelet, instead of having a high polished center link, which gets all scratched up, over time, just wearing the watch carefully, the center portion is now brushed and just the outer flanks are the high polish. And I think that's a good move. It still has light play. It still has pop and finesse, but it's, I think, a little bit more practical for a day-to-day situation. Now let's talk about the movement. This is a new movement. This is a variation of the movement that was in the previous generation. This is called the Caliber 8912. So it is a coaxial movement. It is a master chronometer. This is META certified by the Swiss Federal Institute of Metrology. It will be anti-magnetic to 15,000 Gauss, an absolutely absurd and high number, but I love it. Keep it coming, Omega. I think that's great. And it will also have a free sprung balance, a silicone hairspring, 60 hours of power reserve held in twin barrels. And then the watch will also carry 38 joules and will beat at 3.5 hertz. So not quite 4 hertz, not quite 28.8, but definitely not as jumpy as 21.6 or 3 hertz. And then this watch will carry the true time zone function or feature. And that's my favorite part. I know I've disagreed with many of you in the comments where you go, Bruce, I would take a quick set date over a time zone feature any day. When my watch stops, I don't like to, have to do a few extra turns to get the date in the right position. And I go, I can't understand that at all because it just takes a number of, just a few more seconds to get the date to the right position. But you can independently bump or adjust the hour hand, the local hand forward or backward by hour increments without hacking the balance. So it's great if you travel. It's great for daylight savings here in the United States. It's great for adjusting the date at the end of an irregular month. I mean, I find it so helpful. And yes, I would take it any day over a time zone feature. So I like the fact that it is here on the Seamaster 300. That has been retained. I think that's a great move. When Omega updated I'm so excited. I'm talking too fast and I can't keep up. Please bear with me. When Omega updated the Seamaster Professional 300, I was hoping that they would include the time zone feature, but the 8800 caliber does not carry it like the Planet Ocean does, like the Aquaterra does, like the Globemaster does. The Seamaster Professional does not, so I'm happy to see it here on the Seamaster 300. It makes it more enticing to me. And I don't need more watches in my life that are pulling at me saying, hey, try me out, buy me, add me to the collection. Hey, this will look great next to your Speedmaster. Hey, you'll probably wear your Rolex Submariner less. There are so many watches out there that I'm looking at, that I'm liking, that I want to add to the collection. My taste is like this big. my watch budget is a whole lot smaller. But man, this is a contender. This looks good. I'm looking forward to seeing this in person and seeing how good it is. Because a watch can have great specs on paper. It can look really good in a press release. It can look really good under the LED lights at the authorized dealer. But once you put it on wrist, once you get a few wrist shots, when you wear it around a little bit, that's where you really can tell, hey, this watch is special, or hey, this watch really isn't all that I had it to be in my crazy watch enthusiast mind. Now, let me tell you my dilemma. I want to add another Omega to the collection. I don't know if it's going to be the new Speedmaster. I don't know if it's going to be the Planet Ocean. I reviewed last year. This is one of the funnest watches that I reviewed last year. The Planet Ocean 43 millimeter white ceramic dial, blood orange ceramic bezel. That thing, I wasn't expecting it to be so dang awesome, but it was. It blew me away. And I every time I see pictures of it, I wonder, why didn't I buy that watch? Why didn't I buy that watch? That's a heck of a watch. And I think the Planet Ocean is probably next in line to get the update, to get the attention from Omega, maybe the new 8912 movement. They might change things up. I might be regretting if I don't go with that Planet Ocean and I get the Seamaster 300, this new coaxial version first. So I'm not sure. I'm being pulled in multiple directions. I want to try it all. I'm looking forward to seeing this new Seamaster 300, but maybe the Planet Ocean is the way for me to go. Or maybe in the next year or two, they come out with a new version of the Planet Ocean that blows my mind and makes me think that even the 8900 that I'm so favorable on now isn't the best purchase. I mean, these are the conundrums that we go through as crazy watch people. It's fun though. So guys, I just want to here in closing talk about the Seamaster 300. I mentioned the price, $6,500 on the bracelet. The strap is $6,150. So I think the value is going with the bracelet and then adding the strap at another point if you're into leather straps, or you can get a custom one from your favorite strap maker. Save a little bit of money. I think the value is going with the bracelet. But here is the wrench I'm going to throw at you here. This one is so different and in left field. I wouldn't have thought of it. But again, Omega is making big moves. They're making bold moves. They've released a version of the Seamaster 300 that should hit stores in June. So a little bit after the stainless steel versions. This is a bronze gold version. And I think aesthetically, it looks the best out of the lot. This retails at $11,600, and the case is comprised of 37.5% gold or precious metal. It's hallmarked as 9 karat, and it also carries some palladium and some silver, and visually it will sit between that lovely moonshine gold and then also the hues of the Sedna gold. So I think aesthetically it looks good, and it's designed to slowly age and slowly patina over a number of years. It's not going to be, quick like traditional bronze or brass, to where you're buying a watch, from a micro brand, and then 3 months later it looks kind of crusty. And I know some people like that. I like the look of bronze. I like that look, but I like to see the warmth and the luster. And I think this bronze gold alloy, I don't know, I'm intrigued by it. I tried the Oris Bico and I couldn't do that. I mean, I love the visual look. I love the Diver 65. I've got fairly sensitive skin, so it actually started turning my wrist green. I couldn't keep it. So I'm interested to hear how the bronze gold fares in the real world, how it works with people that have sensitive skin. And I don't know, I think it looks really good. Getting some precious metal, getting some intrinsic value in a watch purchase, a luxury watch purchase, excuse me. Again, I'm too excited here, guys. I think it's a good thing. So let me know what you think of the new release from Omega, the Seamaster 300. Let me know which version you would like me to get in for review, hopefully within the next month or two. Again, there's blue, there's black, and then eventually later in the summer, there will be a bronze gold variation. So guys, let me know what you think. Thank you very much for watching today, and I'll catch you real soon.